Hey there, welcome. My name is Fee, and this is a Nightshade Any speedrun tutorial. A little bit before we get started, I want to say I did this by pre-recording a lot of footage because I didn't want to waste a lot of time, like, making sure I live captured optimal versions of strategies and whatnot. I want to just give you a clean base to work with. If you are interested in running this game, then you can watch even with the sound off, and you should be able to see what I do, at least, and it should give you a really strong, like, foothold in the game in order to get a really good time. I think that if you do everything in this video, like, correctly, manage to chain it all together, you can hit either a really low 11, or ideally, I think a sub 11 time is quite achievable. And yeah, so we are going to be just playing through these things, and I will talk about everything, and I will do my best to cover alternate strategies or holes that have opened up in my knowledge in between my recording and actually sitting down to talk about everything. So hopefully I'm going to be able to give you the best possible information, but in the meantime, let us get going. So right from the beginning, if you are brand new to the game and you are worried about health, then the very first thing that you're going to be doing is shimmying this chair behind this wall so this bomb doesn't hurt you. This costs like 15 seconds compared to just going straight into the candle. Because the candle won't burn through the rope until the bomb explodes. But if you're here, then you just instantly pop free. Or as opposed to if you go around, then you need to shimmy all the way back around the wall and up to the candle. And while you'll pop free very quickly after that, you will not, you won't even be positioned, so it's slower. You don't lose any time until the bomb explodes. All the time loss is after that. The consequence, though, is that, as you can see, your health goes down rather precipitously when the bomb blows up. It's not a good death trap. It doesn't actually, like, kill you. Yeah, I don't know. Because that's not really important, is it? Anyway, so very beginner tutorial, like, kind of thing. If you're just starting out, you're really worried about dying, then hide behind the wall. If you want to go faster, it is generally better to stop doing that and just go straight to the candle. Another thing is that this being an NES game, there's only 2 buttons. Well, there's more than 2 buttons. There's 3 buttons, really. There's select, which gives you a big menu, and then there's B, and then there's A. And B is your big interacting thing. That is the defaults to the operate command. So if you need to hit any switches or root around in drawers and stuff, you will just hit B, skip the menu, and then interact with the object in question. This game works on like a point-and-click adventure menu system in addition to a weird like fighting game combat thing, which we'll get to when we get to it. And that is the basic thrust of it. So once you're free, you're going to exit through immediately B, hit that switch, and then up through that door, B, interact with this painting, and then don't touch any buttons. That's really important. If you need to go through a thing like that, don't touch extra buttons. If you are holding a direction, Nightshade will get stuck in a permanent, like, butt-wiggling shimmy position, and you'll wind up fighting that little blue English guy. And that's not good, because we want to avoid as much combat as possible. So just, yeah, press your face right up against that picture, kiss it nice and close, and then B, go up, A, and then you'll interact with it. Great quivering tartar sauce. You'll hit A to skip the dialogue, and then immediately shimmy up and in. On this screen, you want to move up immediately so that you're against the wall, and then you will be avoiding a pitfall that we'll be seeing in a second that way. We're just going over to this switch. You do not need to be that close to it. Right about there, where you can just see Nightshade poking out from that pillar, is good enough. And then you'll hit it, then you'll drop down. As soon as you land, hit select to go to the menu, go to pick up, and pick up that crowbar, and then that will skip the like brushing himself down animation. From there, you will walk to the left, interact with this statue. You don't need to move up or down to do that, just interact with it. You'll pick up a key, which will become immediately relevant. Go down to this desk, pick up a flashlight, and then pick up the screwdriver. Get near-ish this statue, use the key on the statue, it'll pick up a coin, and then we are about done with this. So now we're going back to the first room. Now that we have a crowbar and a flashlight, we will use the crowbar. Here, it barely requires anything, and then you will automatically go down. Do your best to take tight lines, don't waste movement and whatnot. Like, if you go too early, you'll get stuck on corners and stuff, so like, when you're starting out, try to give corners and whatnot a wide berth so you don't waste time getting stuck to them, but as you get more confident in the game, do your best to press closer and closer and closer to the edges of objects, because it means that you will waste less overall movement, and it will help make you faster. Menuing and movement in this game are actually a really big part of going fast. It's kind of like half the game, really. It feels like in a game with combat, or combat is kind of like the all-consuming force, but if you aren't good at fights, don't worry about it. Try to make up your time in the menus. If you're not good at menus, don't worry about it. Try to make up your time in the fights. If you're not good at either one, just practice. It'll come to you, I promise. Anyway, once we're out, we're going to go over to the right and up a teeny bit. Use the money on this cook, and he will give you some nuts, which will change your inventory up a little bit. We're doing this 3 times because he's going to give you a tip that'll give you an event flag that'll let you proceed to forward the game. If you get in trouble, these nuts also double as a teeny health refresh. You can hit B to begin your operate. Hit B again, you will wind up in your item menu. You can move over to a food or other healing item. We'll cover that in a second, literally just a second. And if you use it from there, then it will heal you. A food, like a nut, will heal 1 arrow worth of health, which is not a ton, but it's not nothing either. The item we're picking up on the next screen will heal you 2 full from wherever you happen to be. So if you are nervous about healing, then that is the other way that you'll stay alive in addition to dodging the bomb. Now that we have that, we are going to head up here. This right here is this little V block is hiding our first aid kit. If you are, there's a death warp in this run, so if you are trying to save as much time as possible, you want to be as low health as possible. So if you want to play really risky, then you don't have to use this. There is an argument for picking it up anyway, because it will make certain menus faster. You can hit down if you've got a lot of stuff in inventory to go to the second row, and then left to get to things that are on the far right of your inventory instead of scrolling all the way to the right, because you can't do left scroll in the menu. It will give you an error sound and freeze the game for a second. But that is a really, really, really fiddly thing. It is a slightly less optimal line to go pick this up, so like it's probably really shaving little pieces off a corner of a thing in terms of time save, picking it up or not picking it up if you're not planning on using it. You really should be looking at this as a safety. If you need the health, then get it, and then use it. If you do not pick it up, then you just want to immediately turn around and go through. You hit down into here, and then you wind up in this little club. Another cook will let you through. Go and touch the first blue guy, and you will fight both of them. It is a faster bit of movement. And then also a slightly quicker text box compared to the other guy, who's got a little bit more lines of dialogue than the first guy. So combat is a little bit like fiddly. The big thing that you're noticing here, it's very fast, first of all, and with these 2 little guys ganging up on you, this guy can get real hectic. This is just kind of a do your best sort of thing. Try not to get stuck in the middle of them. and that way they won't be able to juggle you. If they do, then just reset and move on. But with some practice, you'll be able to do it. The basics for this fight is you do not want to knock them down, because you want them to, well, you want them to stay upright so you can punch them again. But you're going to hit B, which is your attack button, from a neutral position. So BB, that's punch punch. From there it'll wind up, if you hit punch again, which B, just unfiltered B button presses, it'll wind up like a right cross, kind of like wah, pow, big hit. That's a finisher for a combo, which has a slight knock away, but not a knockdown. But we can also hit up on the D-pad and kick, as you can see Nightshade kicking a guy in the face right here. And that will add some extra damage, because you can punch, punch, kick, and then immediately let go of up and just hit your neutral button, and it'll finish the combo. So punch, punch, kick, standing punch is the fastest, highest damage combo for most enemies in the game. There's a few that you want to use other things on just because we're trying to manipulate them, but for something like this where we just want them to come at us so that we can just beat the tar out of them, then this is our combo. You want standing punch, high kick, and then the standing right cross finisher. And then we are going to do that. We would like them to stack on top of each other like this so that we can potentially hit both of them at the same time. If this fight goes perfectly, it is crazy fast. If this fight goes poorly, you will die from full health. There's not a whole lot of in between. It can waste a ton of time. With two of them there, I have never found a great manipulation for it. I don't know that there's a good way to do this consistently. You just kind of have to hope that they're not jerks. But be aggressive and... Oh, as you can see, that do not finish them with an uppercut, which is if you hit down for your final combo attack, because it sends them flying, and they have a much, much, much slower death animation in that case, but it's like a little thing. Do what you have to do. Just win the fight. After you've done that, then move over to this moose, get on the right side of it, and then operate it. That will hit the right antler. And then from here, as you can see, like, we're hitting B. You can see there's your food. That's how much it heals right there. You can see. And then you've got your first aid kit, and that's what that does. Ideally, you would want to hold on to that first aid kit for a little bit until we're getting into the next section, because that would make a menuing thing a little bit cleaner as per something I just said. But if you wind up in a situation like this where the little blokes rough you up and you get scared by being at a sliver of health, then it would be best to just use it before the boss fight. Okay, and then this is a bit of a mess to describe it. I'm going to do my best. We're going to watch here. So we're lining up with this column with that little black part, and then punch, punch, kick, uppercut to knock him down. And then what we're doing is we're aligning Nightshade's foot at the very front of his foot with this carpet while we're waiting for Yoixley, that's this dude, to stand up again. That is going to manipulate his, like, jumping position. He will jump over you, and then you will just walk up and he will lift his cane again to drop rocks. We really want him to do that attack, because otherwise it is a wicked little dance trying to get him to sit still and not just club you to death. He has a really weird sliding attack where he spins his cane and just ice skates, and if he does that, it's like just a ton of damage, and it's really hard to hit him. You kind of have to just jump over and try to get him at the end instead, and it's kind of slow. But so we're doing an uppercut on purpose there, even though it's slower, because it manipulates him to do that, and then positioning so that we wind up on the right side of the screen, coming just off the carpet. When we get off the carpet, we do the original combo we just talked about, the punch, punch, kick, standing punch, because that will not knock him down. It also does slightly more damage. He will then respond by immediately jumping all the way across the screen again, and he will lift his cane to drop another rock. So you just follow him, and then done. There are faster fights that are a little more aggressive, but this is a consistent thing to do as long as you position Nightshade's shoulder with this fun little black line on this column for the first little bit. Jump over, do your combo, punch, punch, kick, uppercut, and then foot here, walk over, punch, punch, kick, cross, jump, B. And then every time it will work. You will not take damage. If your positioning is a teeny bit off, if you're like too far to the left when you're waiting for him to jump over, then there's a chance that he will kick you in the face as he jumps over the third time. That will do like half a triangle worth of health, but that's not generally that big a deal. It's a very safe, very consistent fight, and there's enough RNG in this game that I just think that is the best way to get runs going. So that is what I do. Just looking at it a couple more times because I wanted to show, like, if you... Like, you've got a pretty big window there to punch, but like if you mess it up, you know, you don't have to panic. Okay, let's just say, for argument's sake, that like you drop part of your combo. Like right there, we didn't kick him. So now he's got too much health. So you just combo him. It's fine. You just add a combo instead of just doing a little tap. And that's fine. But let's say also, for argument's sake, that we don't get the manip, or we just don't have enough damage to kill him on the final bit. So then we're still not going to panic because we know where he's going to go. So we jump, okay. He missed, so he's going to slide, and then he's going to jump, and you just tap him with a crouching punch as he lands, and then that's it. So you just don't panic, just wait for him to jump, and then get him at that point. After that, you walk over, you pick up that scarab, that's really important. Pick it up and leave. So from here, it's out the door, up and around, and then see those dog and that cat, and we just go down that corner, and then we wait right here for an elevator to come down. And this is where holding on to the med kit could be potentially useful, because you can have a slightly nicer menu. So let it land, go to jump, which is that J, let it go all the way up, but he won't jump off, then jump. So now what we are doing is we are going to our, not our scarab, but our screwdriver, which would be easier if I had a med kit right now, and then operating the lever, and that shuts off these machine guns. To note, you really do not need to be so far across the screen to interact with this corner. You see, right here, like, that's good enough. Just hit up and you will go around. And then we go up the ladder. We're gonna use our crowbar on that grate up ahead. That opens it, and then we can step through to the next boss, which we'll cover in just a second. Okay, so coming in, so here is the Goliath fight. The Goliath fight is not hard. You should be able to do this no damage very consistently. I do not think that any of you fear this fight, or will fear it, the way a fish fears a man in a hat. But actually doing it like optimally fast is fiddly. So the thing is that he is basically invincible unless he hits the wall, and then you can kick him for 2 ticks of damage. The big thing is that the timing on walking him back and forth across the screen is different at the beginning of the fight than it is in the middle of the fight. And it stays the same. From the middle of the fight to the end of the fight, it's the same. But there's a weird change in how you have to approach things that makes this kind of difficult to pick up. To start with, you are going to just walk to the left, like 1, 2, 3 steps, and then jump. And that will cause him to charge you close enough to the wall. He'll only charge you when he's far enough away from you that he thinks that it's a good idea. And then he needs to be close enough to the wall that he will actually ram into it with his head. That will make him vulnerable. Then you can actually do damage to him. The first time he goes on the left, only that time, he will then stagger, take a couple steps to the left all the way to the edge of the screen, and then start following you to the right. So that time, you are going to walk to the right for a bit, and then you are going to jump so that he actually gets far enough right to hit the screen again. After that, what you are doing is landing as far to the other side of him as possible when you jump over, kick, and then immediately jump. You need to immediately jump and then hold the directional button to finish going to the wall so that he will charge. If you hesitate at all, he will not do it. He will simply be like, no, I'm close enough, I'm just gonna go punch him in the face. And it wastes a bunch of time. So it is walk, jump, wait, walk, jump, and then jump, 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 jump. And you will dog walk him back and forth across the screen, and that's the fastest version of the fight. Just like that. It's very simple, but like to do damageless, but very hard to do as fast as possible. If you, for whatever reason, mess part of this up, here, watch. You see, he walks away, then he comes right. Let's say, whoop, darn, I messed up. I find it very difficult to get back in rhythm. So you can just, from the get-go, go to this strat because it's simpler. It's a couple seconds slower, but it's not really that big deal. If you just jump over him and then immediately jump back the other way, he will move in such a way as he will every time he will charge. And so you can just loop him on one wall. And then that will be an easier way to do the fight, but it is slower than moving him back and forth across the screen because you have to do a setup, which you're skipping in the better version of the fight. But if you drop it, or if you're not comfortable with it, then just loop him. It's only 2 or 3 seconds. It's not that big a deal. Then you will go, you'll pick up his scarab, and we will immediately begin our walk to the next area. So we're going to the left. Here, when you get to the I in newspaper archives, you're going to hit down and left, and then you're going to keep on that diagonal, and you're going to walk straight here. Actually, so this is a fun thing, you don't want to go to the left like where I am going. You actually want to go down here and then continue down into the left, avoiding a girl in silver along the way because she will start stuff with you, and that's a fight you want to avoid. But if you do that, then it will take you down a different route that will take you to the same place that we are winding up, but it will skip this, which is a fairly slow screen. I didn't know about this at the time of recording, so that's my bad, but I'm telling you now. And after that, we get to what most people think is the big pain point of the run, which is the ninja fights. They're not complicated, but they are really difficult to pin down. I'm going to talk a little bit about this stuff. Also, when you come in here, don't run into this girl and don't try to walk past her. Go into your menu, hit the sword, which is the fight command, menu over her, and then immediately fight her. That skips her being disguised as a waitress and will go straight to her revealing herself as a ninja, an evil ninja. You need to fight her. You can't get through without fighting her, so you need to just fight her. This is one of those unavoidable non-boss encounters. This one is fairly straightforward. All we need to do is move to the right, duck, and punch, and then you can just loop her like this. 2 notes. This is another thing that I did not know until tonight, but you can work kicks into this combo. So like crouching punch, kick if you're confident in it, and then drop back down to uppercut because you want to knock her down to keep her in this loop. The ninjas have a very fast stand-up animation, so it's not that big a deal to knock them down, and it's good for our purposes to keep them stuck in a corner. The kick will add more damage, so you have to do fewer of these, so it's fewer knockdowns, so it's still faster. But if you're not comfortable with that, if you just like having her in a loop where you're just tapping a button and holding down, then like it's not significantly slower to do that. Much like the Goliath fight, just do what is comfortable to start with, and then work on getting more optimal fights as you go. An important fiddly bit that is especially relevant here. Sometimes you will notice that the ninjas will escape. You're doing everything right. You've got her in the combo loop, and then she decides she's going to teleport away. And you're like, ah, shoot, what did I do wrong? Well, I am here to tell you what you probably did wrong is you were betrayed by your microphone. Wow, I'm tired. I'm so sorry. You were betrayed by your D-pads. If you list even slightly toward the side inputs on the D-pad, then it will very, very modestly delay the part of your combo. So it'll look like you did a fast punch, punch, uppercut, but it won't come out as fast. The hitbox will not extend because it is fighting the right input or the left input. You have to make sure you're hitting down and only down, and that will keep everything clean and you'll keep them stuck. So if that's been a problem for you, that is, in my experience, the thing that fixes it. So we just handle that, and then we can walk to the left and we can actually do this fight. This is not actually that hard to get her in the corner. You can just walk to the left and she will wind up in this corner. And you can just do this. Right there is an example of me nudging the D-pad and getting stuck. But if that happens, just stay low, face away from the wall so that she'll try to teleport behind you. And then that's kind of it. So from there, we are walking down, and this is the screen that you would wind up on, where you're avoiding that girl particularly if you're taking the faster route. But now we're walking past her. If you feel like your health is really high because we're working on a death warp, those rats can hurt you. It's just a quick little free bit of damage. We're going down, going to the right. There's a few more rats that you can run into to take more damage. I am not bothering because I can just tell you. And then we are going to go and look at this puddle because that will show a crank. And then we will pick up that crank. And now we are operating this manhole and going down. If you are high health, you will walk over this toxic sludge. It will just damage you. It will not instantly kill you. If you are low health because you were doing more aggressive strategies or because a fight went really poorly coming up here and you need to preserve some health, then you will do what I'm doing here. You will go to full neutral and then you will go into the menu and you will jump. And then you won't take any damage. These rat fights are actually fairly simple. Just punch, punch, uppercut, jump over the little poison spit, punch, punch, uppercut, and then punch, punch, uppercut one more time, and then just immediately punch. And then that is that fight clean. These bats will ding you for damage too. That's good though. So we go up in here, and now we are going to use our crowbar on this, which will reveal a thing. Then we use the crank on that little hole, which will let us through. The faster that you can do this, the less damage you will take on this screen. If your movement up to that box is good, and your menus are good, and you don't leave time in between your menus, you can actually get down this ladder before that sludge can damage you at all. If you're really low health, that's a great thing to think about. If you are really high health, you might want to consider sandbagging slightly in here, because we're just trying to avoid something that I will talk about a little bit later. So here we are in a room full of poisonous gas. Every second that you're in here, it does more and more damage. If you were curious about the hero who disappeared in this, like the intro, if you're actually reading that stuff, here he is. He's dead. Too bad, so sad, we couldn't save him. Rip Vortex, I guess, I don't know. But since we don't have a gas mask, we are losing health for every second we're in here. This is good. Now here I have way too much health, so like if you still have too much health, what you want to do is just get really aggressive with this fight. Just don't walk away at all. Just get hit, just get hit, and then you'll take damage and everything will be fine. It is a little bit faster to fight the rats like that because they'll hit you and then you'll come back in, you keep punching them. You get more damage per second that way, but it's damaging. So since we're on an optimal run trying to get here in very low health, then just do what I showed you in the first rat fight and not the second one. They work the same way. You can just punch, punch, uppercut, jump over, punch, punch, uppercut, jump over, punch, punch, uppercut, punch. Otherwise, if you're trying to take some damage, then you can get aggro. I prefer to take all of my damage before this next boss fight, because he can be very dangerous, but you can slow down your damage a little bit on him to get him to do some more damage to you as well. This next thing is really complicated to talk about. It's gonna look kind of nuts, so I'm gonna also show you an alternate strategy that is way simpler. But for the Rat King, he's weird. And the thing that makes him weird is that he's heavy and he's sort of tall, but he's not like impervious to damage. So this means we can do combos in him that don't work in any other way. Like, he does not get knocked far enough back by our cross to take him out of damage range, which means we can actually follow up. And you can do this anywhere in the game, it just doesn't help because things get knocked too far away. You can punch, punch, standing cross, and then immediately uppercut afterwards to do a 4-punch combo with no kicks. And that is extra damage, and that will knock him all the way to the edge. We're just gonna watch it here. So that's the basic. And once we've got him in the corner, then we're no longer gonna knock him far enough away. So you can do an extra bit of fun spice, where you're running up to him, you are doing punch, punch, standing finisher punch, immediate uppercut, walk to the right, punch, punch, standing finisher punch, kick as the punch lands, so that you immediately very quickly do a kick, and then from the kick do the uppercut. So it's punch, punch, kick, uppercut, punch, 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 kick, uppercut, punch, 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 kick, uppercut, punch. And then he will just die. It is a really like crazy like Satsui no Hado Demon's Rush Akuma thing. And it is very cool. It is also really, really, really hard to keep straight in your head. You need to be precise with your inputs. Otherwise, he will just kind of run over you. If that sounds like, Phoebe, that's silly. I'm not doing that. I don't want to tangle my fingers into knots. I don't want to do a wrong input and get trucked. Then I have good news for you. You don't need to. It's only very slightly faster than this. All we're gonna do now is punch, punch, uppercut, punch, punch, uppercut, punch, punch, uppercut, punch, punch, uppercut, punch, and just a loop. You'll perfectly juggle him. It's just the damage doesn't come out as fast. You saw, a little bit of hesitation in both of those fights, and I took a claw to the face, and I took some damage as a result. That is good, because we are about to die. On purpose. I said I don't like taking damage in this fight. And the reason I don't like taking damage in this fight is because it can be a little bit dangerous. Because the Rat King has a tail whip attack, where he will do this, like, spinning roundhouse move, except he'll hit you with his tail. And if he does that, it knocks you back like 3/4 of the screen and also does 4 arrows worth of health. It is crazy dangerous. It is really scary. You can be like, oh no, I need to take some extra damage, and then he'll be like, oh, I'll just kill you then. And you'll be like, no, I need to die after you. And it's sad. So it's so unpredictable. I prefer to rush him down as fast as possible. And that's that. But now that we have all that settled, it is time to die, which means we're going to walk back up, and we're going to go back into the gas room, which is conveniently right there. The lower your health is, the fewer of these text boxes you will see. And then you will pass out, and you'll wind up with this death trap. Death traps are the life system of this game. Basically, every time you run out of health, Sutek, the final boss, will capture you and put you in an increasingly convoluted death trap. We should only be seeing this one, but I recommend taking some time to die a bunch so that you can see them and figure out how to escape from all of them, in case you want to do like a no reset run and things just kind of like go poorly. Knowing at least the first 2 of these, or 3, in case, like, it's really so, like, if you just accidentally die before the death warp, then you would need to know the second one so that you can actually continue the run. Or if you wind up doing the double death thing and then you die again, but you don't feel like giving up, it's your like first run or whatever, then knowing the third one would be really useful. It's like a crusher trap where you're picking up two pieces of rebar and sticking them together so that you break the press before it gets you, and then the last one you're like just jumping over a hole and avoiding a dog. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it's not super complicated. After that, there's a really weird thing involving a mouse with some cheese, but if you get to that one, I really recommend just resetting. It's a very short game. But yeah, so basically what we're doing here is we are sliding down the conveyor belt. We're waiting for our foot to get to the left lever. The left lever is really important. Your foot is by the left lever, because that will let you operate that, kick it, and then free yourself. And look, we're back here. And we do want to be back here because we need our last scarab. You can actually pick this up at the beginning if you feel like it. It's fine. Habit has me doing it at the end because I'm revisiting it, and it's just, I don't know, feels like something to do. So you just hit those two things that shut those flames, jump over that, use that coin we picked up way at the beginning of the game, and that will give us our final scarab, and then we just jump back over. Make sure you are not holding directions or it'll cancel the jump. From here, we're going left. You just want to go up into this, and then hang on this corner for a second if you want to be safe about it to avoid fighting this thing. You can seamlessly slip immediately. Just right past this corner, stay at the bottom, and then slide through and you'll be fine. But if you want to just hang out here, this will walk past you and you get a free way through. From there, then you will walk over here and you will start using scarabs. Hit down for as many scarabs as possible. And here I am silly. You can actually use this cancel button as a down input, which would let you do another scarab before you run out and actually have to menu over. So you don't need to menu all the way over these two, even if you don't have the medkit. If you do have the medkit, if you picked it up and didn't use it, congratulations, you can hit down and left on all of them. Excuse me. But that's like, it's a really minor thing. But in any case, we are putting all 5 of these things in here, and that's going to open up the layer to the final boss. But first, we have a boss rush. And the boss rush is a bit miserable, because you are fighting all the bosses in a row, and a couple of them can be pretty jerky jerks. They're not in any particular order. I mean, they are... You can see there's another example of the really aggressive Rat King fight. This time, it is a better thing because there's really no argument for taking damage. So if you are confident in your fighting in this game, then I like that setup a lot. It's really fast. He just goes down instantly. If not, then whatever. So Uexley, there's a lot of different ways. This is why we call him Uexley, because he wakes to you. Also, he's English. There's a lot of different ways you can handle this. The way that I do it is unnecessarily fiddly, but it is fast. So basically what we are doing is we are moving over to this golden panel, and then he's going to slide forward, and we are going to jump over, and as we're going over him, we're going to hold the left again in midair to land next to him, which will dodge the rocks that he's going to drop. Punch, punch, kick, standing punch. Then he will jump over me. And then we're just doing a stare off here for a second. If I don't move until the right time, then he will lift his cane and drop another rock. And I will get to go after him. Punch, punch, kick, punch. And then I mistimed it, but you can basically just walk a couple steps to the right and then punch him as he lands. I took some extra damage as a result of missing. It's not a big deal. I just want him dead as fast as possible, so I'm not waiting around for another opening. I'm just creating it. If you want, though, you can stay away from him, and he will respawn with another rock drop most of the time. If your movement is slightly off, he may not. He may get stuck in spinny land, in which case, gang, just jump over him, try your best to land in a place where you can get the final hit and just jab him. But, yeah, there are other simpler strats, but I have found this to be the fastest one that I know how to do. After that, we get the Goliath fight. It is exactly the same. Just exactly the same as it was the first time. It's just in a different background. So we just walk a couple steps, and then jump over kick, and then walk a couple steps, jump over kick, jump, jump, kick, jump, jump, kick, jump, and then he's dead. And then our last refight is the ninja girl. It's actually a really convenient thing. So we are jumping, and we are facing to the right so that she will teleport behind us. We are looking at this line as our target. If you get here when she disappears, then she is going to be right here. And then you can just fight her as normal. This is 100% consistent. You don't have to worry about messing it up. You've got this fantastic visual cue, just use it, and then she's easy. Again, you can work in kicks into this, but you don't have to, if you're not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable with it, I just never thought to do it. Because I'm a silly head. And then, alone among the evil bosses, she gets to live. It's kind of funny. And, that leaves us with just our final boss, which I'm going to be covering in a small amount of detail. So basically, there are two attacks that are really worth doing. But before we get to that, you're going to come into this room and he's going to taunt you. There are two lines of text that you are particularly looking for in order to advance these things. So when he says phase, you get to phase. In this, then you can hit A and the 2 should pop up. Then you are looking for, I believe, wooden coins? No. Sorry. Text optimization is really, really not worth getting into, but I'm here, but yes, so we're gonna get to nickels will be, and then it'll say legal, and then we need one more text box to go to tender. It's just one word. Not you, and then blah, 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 you still have to deal with, and that's the end of that. You can walk up to him to start the fight, but you don't have to. It's faster if you just turn and walk away. He'll taunt you, the fight will start immediately. Now, basically, in this fight, there are two main ways of damaging him. You can use kicks, which are the highest individual damage attack in the game, but are slow to come out, and they are very easy to miss with. Or you can punch him. To my knowledge, the crouching punch and the standing punch do the same amount of damage. I have always crouched. You get to hit him 3 times, and then he will summon a random enemy. It'll either be this little Anubis hieroglyphic thing, which you don't want, or it'll be a mummy, which you do, and we'll talk about that when I actually find one. I had really bad luck with this. The kicks save 2 attacks over the punches, so you have a faster final cycle. But if you miss anything, then you wind up doing an extra cycle, and that's very bad. If you get these little Anubis hieroglyph things, you jump over them, and as they turn, then you punch them, and that sends them spinning. This is a really slow thing, because they have to go all the way across the screen 3 times, and it's just incredibly annoying. It is the slower of the 2 enemies that he can send out. And you can see, you have no control over which one he sends. Once you've beaten it, you stand in the middle, he will shoot a fireball. If you're ducking, it'll always miss you. And then you just wait for him to teleport. The reason why punching is easier than kicking is because the punch comes out way faster than the kick. So since you don't know what side of you he's going to teleport to, it's not behind you 100% of the time. The punch gives you a way bigger reaction window. If you're really confident, then just kick him. Kicking him will be faster. And then you can like drop the punches when he's super, super low, because the last kick doesn't actually doesn't help you. You can't do extra damage on a sliver of health. But yeah, it's a little bit faster if you're really good at kicking, but it's not a particularly huge deal, and missing so that you have to add cycles. Like, if you're good at landing kicks, then you can actually afford to miss a couple, and you'll lose the benefit of the kicks, but you won't lose the cycle, which is the more important thing. But punching makes it much easier to min cycle. So especially if you're starting out, I recommend it. I flubbed this here because I was like, wait, have I only seen Anubises? I need to show the mummy. Like, did I, or did I not? And while I'm sitting there thinking about it, I forgot to actually hit the buttons, so I got hit instead of hitting him, which is why we're doing an extra one. Luckily, unfortunately, I haven't seen a mummy yet. So now I just want you to see it. You need to see. They're fairly simple, but they're much faster. You want these guys to pun out. You do a quick crouch punch, uppercut, and then they will zip off like that. It is legit like 10 seconds faster per appearance than the hieroglyph. You do not want the little Anubis dude. You very much want the mummies. If you get all mummies, congratulations, you've won. You have a world record. But yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it, is just punch him or kick him, duck his fireball, kill his minions, hope for mummies. And in the end, your time will end now. Right there in that black screen. That is when you are done, and this means that you are in fact done. You've been extremely patient. I hope that these explanations have not been overly long-winded and fiddly, even though I know that they have. I hope that doesn't turn you off of playing the game. It is really fun, I promise. The menuing in this game is very reminiscent of any kind of point-and-click adventure, if you're familiar with any of those. The exploration is interesting, the world is colorful. The combat is surprisingly fluid. If you're a fan of fighting games, you might find a home here. I'm just saying. And yeah, no, I really hope that you take your time and decide to play the game, and that if you do, you have a good time with it. Like, don't beat yourself up if things go wrong. Just keep, like, put in the safeties, you know, take the med kit, use it, dodge the bomb if you have to. Between those two things, I think you're going to have a ton of resources to play with, especially because the death warp resets us to full health. But, like, you know, if it's not going so well, then just come back here and review the things, and if it's really not working, if you just cannot make it work, then sit there for a little bit, practice a fight specifically, and try to find a strat that works for you. If you can find me online, which can be difficult to do, I am sorry, but if you do see me streaming on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Fukun, if I'm live and you want to talk to me about Nightshade, I will drop what I'm doing and talk to you about Nightshade. If you've got questions, I try to be available. I'm not the fastest to answer any kind of, like, messages on any services that you can message me on, but if you find me, feel free to try. If it's a question about Nightshade, I will answer it. But yeah, no, like, happy hunting and good luck. Have a lot of fun, okay? It's actually a weirdly good speedrun. It's a weird kind of janky looking game, but it's a really fun speedrun actually, and you should definitely give it a go. I'm rooting for you. 11:02 is my time as of this recording. I think that you can beat it very easily. I believe in you, so just go get him, Tiger. Alright, take care. Bye-bye.